I don't think there's anything better than getting your eyebrows done to make you feel like a whole brand new person. Look at that. Oh, man. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Janita. I also got a new little mic. I hope I'm not too loud talking into it right now. I don't know how. Okay, well, excuse my little mic here. It's so cute. I love it. But yeah, so let's talk about today. Man, I don't know how to start these. I like end up being very awkward. But yeah, a couple videos ago, I was talking about how I wanted to do this like whole like mid-year reset, getting reorganized type of thing. And so that's what this video is going to be about. Just kind of talking about like what my goals, my intentions for the month of July is going to be. So that's what we're going to go do. All right. So honestly, I had like a certain direction that I wanted to take this video, but it kind of didn't go in the direction that I wanted it to go. Oh, that's thunder. Basically, like I said, I wanted to use this opportunity to really kind of talk about like the fact that it's the mid-year. We're already in July. Today is July 2nd. And for starters, this is just intense. Like just the fact that it's already the middle of the year. And for those of you that have been watching my videos from the beginning, I was recently in a season where I've just been getting out of that funk, getting out of this feeling of like apathy, really feeling like just kind of numb. Like I've just been in this drifting mindset, and it's pretty tough whenever you're in that season. And so I was gonna use this middle of the year, that New Year syndrome, whenever it's like New Year's Eve and people feel like, oh, like New Year's resolutions and my whole life is gonna change. I feel like the middle of the year kind of tends to give off that same feeling of like restarting, which is good in some cases. Like I feel like for me personally right now with where I'm at, it's gonna be a good season. And so I did take the time over the past few days. It kind of took me a little bit longer than I expected, but just mainly because it's been a while since I've planned. I used to be really good at like planning my days, planning my months, planning my year, honestly. Like I used to be really good at taking the time to sit down and reflect and really plan out my goals and things like that. And I hadn't done that in maybe a good year and a half. And so I kind of lost touch of like how to do that. Like these past couple days, it's like I'd open up my notebook or I'd open up my phone and I'd be like, okay, where the heck do I even start? And so that's why it kind of took me a little bit to really just kind of get into the groove of things again. I had mentioned in my last video that I had kept seeing people talk about the Notion website or app, and I tried it out for like the past 2 days and I just couldn't get the hang of it. I kept getting overwhelmed of trying to figure it, not even trying to figure it out. It's just I was just getting overwhelmed. Like I'm looking at all these templates and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what, how do I even, yeah. And so like for me, I'm your good old like just give me a pen and paper. I used to get like planners, like actual like calendars, agendas. I used to like those a lot. The one I totally recommend is the Christian Planner. Literally, if you just search up on Google the Christian Planner, it's a specific website, and I completely recommend that planner. It's one of my favorites. I've owned 2 of them before. I owned one last year and then one in the year of 2020. So then not last year, it was I think 20 and 2021. Right now it's not really a priority like like financially for me to get one. That's not really a priority for me right now, because again, I mean, I have a lot of notebooks, I have my phone that I can keep track of things through in a more free and convenient way right now. But whenever I did have access to those planners, oh, it's a dream. The formatting, it's so great because you have the month formatting, and then You have the weekly formats where it's separated into like time frames, so it's like it's even separated hourly. It also has like an area for you to do Bible study. It has an area for you to do a dream board. Such a great plan, totally recommend. But like I said, right now it's not really a priority for me to like purchase a planner or anything like that. So I did just kind of went ahead and went old school. Like I said, I tried the whole Notion, not my thing. Oh my gosh, it's starting to rain. For me, I'm not gonna take the time to go into like, oh, what's my goal before the end of the year, because honestly, there's certain things that are completely out of your control. You know, there's goals and then there's desires. Desires are gonna be the goals, I guess you can say, that are out of your control, and goals, the way I see it, are things that you can control. So for example, I can put a goal for drinking a certain amount of water every day, and that is a goal because I can control how much water I can drink. And then there are desires, like right now a desire that we have had is to have a home over either by the end of this year or by next year, and that's more of a desire. It's not a goal. I can't really control necessarily when we get home. Oh my gosh, sorry! And that was the moment Janira knew she done messed up. Let's go ahead and try this again. So yeah, so like I said, I went more old school. I just wrote down my goals as to like what I really want to prioritize. Like, I think the best thing for me right now is not to go like all in, like, oh, let me track my macros and let me do this and that and that. And yeah, no, I don't think that, at least for the season that I'm in right now, because I think that's the biggest thing, is that in order to really get into that mode of productivity again, into that mode of moving the needle forward in your life, I think it's going to be really important to just really focus on a certain number of priorities and make a list. I think that is something I didn't do, but I've done in the past, where you make a list of the things that either like you need to do or goals or things like that, but write them down from like what is your highest priority down to the least priority. I know I've done that in the past when it came down to chores. Like whenever I was trying to plan out my day, I would write down which chore or which thing that I needed to do was my highest priority, and that way, as I'm knocking off my to-do list, I'm at least doing what's highest in priority. That way, let's say, but for example, if you know the end of the day is coming and I didn't hit like my low priorities ones, it wasn't the end of the day. You know, it's like for me, I would rather get the dishes done over the laundry, or so putting up the laundry. That for me, it's not a high priority, which is actually putting up laundry is one of my goals for this year, because I have this terrible habit of just leaving the basket of clean clothes just sitting there for days. Like it can be, but yeah, you know, like for me, it's like I would prefer to have the dishes clean over the laundry put up, because whenever I cook, I like to have a clean kitchen. So it's just, you know, it's trying to figure out what's best for you. But the biggest thing is getting those small wins. You know, like I just recently downloaded an app called Fabulous or something like that. I was going through the app store just trying to find like apps to help you keep on track, whether it was a habit tracker, a calendar planning, a to-do list app, and I came across this app called Fabulous. And so it kind of gauges like what your certain lifestyle is right now. And so right now, what it put me as like these small goals was to drink water at the very beginning of my day every single day. And honestly, that's not hard for me because we're just a water drinking family anyways. We don't keep soda in the house or anything like that. But the main thing about this app was it wants you to get those small wins under your belt first. That way, as you start seeing you get those small wins, it motivates you to do more, to want to get even bigger wins. And so for sure, it's going to be very important for you to see what are those little things in your life, those little tasks that you can do to give you those small wins underneath your belt to get that productivity goal. You know, and so just to kind of dive in as to what my personal goals are, like I said, I'm just now getting out of this season of just being in like this down season. And so a lot of these goals, they might not seem like much to some of you, but I really hope that maybe it'll give you some ideas as to what goals that you could put for yourself if you're in that season right now of trying to get into a more productive era, a more productive season of your life. And so I did break down my goals into technically 3 different categories. It was spiritual, physical, and then just general. And so for me, as you can see through my channel and whatnot, my faith is a huge part of my life. And so for me, my spiritual is going to be my number 1 priority. And so right now, I kind of have gone several months without really reading the word. And so I do want to, one of my main goals is going to be getting into the word for at least 20 minutes a day, like minimum 20 minutes a day. And I don't mean the YouTube videos that I'm doing. Like right now, a series that I'm doing on my YouTube channel is reading the Bible out loud. I'm not counting that because of the fact that I'm reading that out loud for an audience. I'm not counting that as my own personal time. And so outside of me doing those videos, I do want to make sure that I'm on my own time getting into the Bible for a minimum of 20 minutes a day. And that's going to tie in with my second goal, which is making sure that I have prayer and quiet time for at least 10 minutes a day. Because again, I kind of stopped doing that. And for me, whenever I'm in a season of like thriving, the biggest difference is when I have like a morning routine set up. And so those are going to be 2 things that it's a first thing in the morning type of thing. It's before I even get on my phone, before I was going to say before I cook breakfast, but we don't eat breakfast in this house. We fast until 12. So like my first thing before doing anything after brushing my teeth is going to be getting into the word and having that me time. And the second category is physical. What I mentioned in a past video, I just don't know which one it was. I think it might have been my introduction video. I've always been very passionate about being the best version of yourself. You know, on yourself to never stay stagnant. You know, I think there's something that I've always said is, yes, it's okay with being content or being grateful with where you're at, but don't be content in the form of letting yourself stay stagnant or letting yourself get into comfort. I'm always one of like, okay, how can we get out of our comfort zones? How can we push ourselves to be a better version of ourselves? I just noticed, I don't know if I'm staring this way or if I'm staring at the camera. I have the flash on me right now, and so it's like really hard for me to stare straight at the camera. It's like blinding me. So I apologize completely if there's times where you see me looking like at a completely different place. But yeah, no, like in regards to like being that best version of yourself, you know, you have to make sure you're filling your cup up so that you can overflow into other people, you know. And so in regards to the physical side of things, I wasn't doing that. I hadn't been taking care of myself. I haven't been going to the gym. I haven't been eating properly, and that was causing me to feel very sluggish, very lethargic. And because of that, I wasn't filling myself up properly. So heck no, I was not filling other people properly either, you know. Physical for me right now, my goal is going to be to go to the gym or go for a walk or a jog at least 3 days a week. Again, that might not seem like a whole lot for some people, especially for me. Honestly, it doesn't even sound like a lot for me. I'm somebody that used to go to the gym 6 days out of the week. So yeah, 3 days doesn't sound like a lot, but again, you have to. And I don't want you to watch this video and be like, oh, that's exactly the goal that I'm gonna do. Like that, yeah, that one. Just because it's what I'm doing for me doesn't mean that it's gonna be what's best for you. Maybe for you it's 1 day a week. Maybe for you it is 6 days a week. But for me, just right now in the season that I'm in, where I'm going to welding school, I'm putting in manual labor. You know, there's some days that we have clients that we have to go to before school, so that's even more manual labor. So like those days, I'm not going to be going to the gym because we're working out in the sun, we're picking up tools, we're whatever. So like on the days that whenever we're with clients, I'm definitely not going to be going to the gym on those days. And so right now my goal is a minimum of 3 days a week, whether it's go to the gym or go for a walk. What I really want to focus on, at least from a good month or so, is cardio. Like I'm gonna do cardio all the time. Even whenever I was going at the beginning of the year, cardio was something that I was refocusing on. But for sure, for this month, I really want to highly focus on cardio. again, because of just how I've been feeling, I know normally whenever I get like a light jog or even a walk in, I feel a lot more upbeat. You know, it's those happy hormones that happen. And so that's going to the gym or going for a walk 3 days out of the week, or honestly even any type of movement. Maybe we play tennis, maybe we whatever, go for a bike ride, whatever. So the second goal in the physical category is to be more mindful and intentional with my eating. Again, our eating went out the window. Like, we have been eating out a lot. And so my goal is not going to be to track calories, at least not this month, because for me it's more time consuming to track calories. So right now I just want to get back into the habit of being more mindful as to what it is that I'm putting into my body. You know, one of those being eating out less, period, like just not eating that much fast foods and stuff like that, but also my portions. Instead of tracking calories, at least for this month, I do want to track more of my portions, making so that's that one. And then also stretching, whether it's stretching before a workout or just stretching first thing in the morning, I do want to focus on my stretching. I've just started taking glucosamine again because, man, like, I feel like I'm a 60-year-old trapped in a 26-year-old's body right now, because every time I wake up in the morning, my joints hurt. And I just feel inflamed, to be honest. I think it has to do with like the grinder, the tool that I use a lot at school. My fingers have been hurting a lot, and so I recently started taking glucosamine again. But I've also been having like just back aches throughout the day and stuff like that. And so I do want to focus a lot more on my stretching. And so those are my physical goals. Again, they're not these huge milestones of like, man, I'm gonna sign up for a marathon. No, like, give yourself those baby steps to start those baby wins, and then eventually get to that point. And then so the third category was more general, something that they're not like high priority, but they're definitely something I do want to create a focal point around. And so one of them is to read at least one book a month. So read one book this month. It can be a self-development book, it can be a faith-based book, it can be even just a fun book to read. This past year I read absolutely no books, and that is a first for me. Like, I like burnt out because everything that I was reading was nothing but self-development, and I think you kind of get tired of, like, again, I'm passionate about being the best version of yourself, but I do feel that there has to be seasons of that. Like, for example, like, perfect example, when it comes down to like people that cut and bulk in their fitness journey, you can't cut the whole time you're on your fitness journey. You are meant to cut for a certain amount of time, kind of go off season for a little bit, like coast for a little bit, and then, you know, if you choose to bulk, only bulk for a certain amount of time. Like, you're not supposed to do it the whole time, because you need to give your body a break. And I feel personally that that's the same thing when it comes down to like life, like self-development, I guess, where it's like, yes, always strive to be better, but I do feel like there has to be at least like a month where you just kind of chill out and you're like, okay, like, I am a much better version of myself than I was 6 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, even yesterday. Like let me have a little bit of fun, you know. And I think I burnt myself out with like all these self-development books. I felt like every time I read, I always had the agenda of I have to be better. And so I kind of went this past year, I read nothing. I got so tired. I was so stressed out of like always pushing and hustling and whatnot. And so I completely stopped reading this past year, until I think it was maybe like 3 months ago. I read my first fun book in a while. It was a thriller book, and man, I was like, I read that book in like just a couple days because I was so excited to read again and to read something that wasn't telling me like, you suck, be better, you know. Like, it was just a fun book. And so I have gotten back into some of the self-development books, and so I do have one that I just recently started, and so I do want to finish that book before the month ends. And so that's one goal. Also, another one is check my planner at the beginning of each day I just need to do better at making sure that I have my days planned, because without a plan, without discipline, it's just chaos. And so if I don't plan the night before, again, like these are things that I've just learned about myself over time. Like I have had seasons where I'm like on it with my planning, and I've had seasons where I don't. And usually whenever I don't, that's whenever I start to fall into like the distractions. Like if I don't plan out my schedule, that's whenever I fall into the social media. Like next thing I know, 4 hours have passed, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And that's because I didn't plan my day, you know, and I didn't get things done that I needed to do. And so making sure that I actually plan out my day the night before, and actually having it written down, not just in my head being like I need to do this and that. No, like actually with time frames, planning out my day of like from this time to this time it's for this chore, from this time to this time it's this chore. Like I thrive on routine. And the moment that somebody messes with my routine even once, I go into full panic mode and overwhelmingness, where I shut down and I don't want to do anything. And then not doing anything means things aren't getting done, and I shut down even more. And it's like this whole cycle. And I know it's not good for me to freak out whenever somebody messes with my routine, because that's life. It's never going to be perfect. But I mean, we're all working on ourselves. And so that's one goal, is like I said, checking my planner at the beginning of each day, but also planning my day the night before. One of my goals is also I want to learn how to only dedicate specific days for content creating and for editing my content, because since starting this YouTube channel, I'm not gonna lie, I have been like, man, like pretty overwhelmed in the sense of I am on my phone or the laptop almost all day every day, because I'm just now getting into the groove of learning how to edit long form videos and getting into the groove of taking long form videos. And so right now that's just kind of also because of the fact that it's the beginning of my YouTube channel, I am just trying to push out as many videos as fast as possible, just to kind of get them out there. But I do want to maybe like the middle of the month, just try to kind of get into the groove of only dedicating specific days for content creating and only a specific day for editing. That way it's not taking up my whole week. And so that's one goal. And then also the goal of putting up laundry the same day that I wash and dry. Like I said earlier at the beginning, terrible habit. I'll like wash, I'll get it all dried up, I'll put it in the basket, bring it inside, and it stays there sitting for like a full week. I cannot do that no more. I need to stop doing that, because it creates more mess, more clutter. And so my goal for this month is to really try my best to, the same day that I do laundry, put up that laundry. And then the last one is practice a 7:30 a.m. wake up. So starting tomorrow, which I don't even think tomorrow's going to count. I think tomorrow we have a project that we have to get to by 8 a.m. But basically what I wanted to do this week was try to practice getting up at 7:30 in the morning every day. And now the flash on my phone went out, so let's hope the selfie mode comes out okay on video and not too blurry. But just to kind of end this, like I was mentioning is, I think I had mentioned it in a past video where my wake up schedule has been trash. I have been waking up at like 12 p.m., sometimes 1 p.m. And it would just mess with my whole rest of the day. Like my mood was off because I felt like things weren't getting done. I just felt very irritable and things like that. And so what I put on myself was wanting to wake up earlier, which this past week I did much better. I had been waking up anywhere between 9 to 10 a.m., which even then, just waking up at 9 to 10 a.m. was a huge difference. I was getting things done first thing that I needed to do, you know, like wash dishes and things like that, clean around. And so, you know, there's the people that do the whole 5 a.m. club and whatnot, because that's what, you know, the millionaires do. Now, if you want to do that, go right ahead. God bless you. But I do want to start off small. Again, the small wins. And so I want to kind of get into the habit of maybe waking up at 7:30. I was going to say 8, but I was like, let me push myself for those even 30 minutes earlier. And so 7:30 a.m. having that be my wake up, at least for this week. I want to try Monday through Friday this week and see how that goes, and you know, if I can push through it, you know, definitely push to continue doing it, and that way I can have a proper morning routine. So my goal is gonna be to record myself that whole week of trying that out for the first time. That way you can kind of see what my morning routine is gonna be looking like. It might look like the same thing every single day, so I'm so sorry if it ends up being a boring video, but you know, I did want to take y'all along through that little journey as well. You know, because at the end of the day, my main thing with everything that I share, I think I shared this last time too, is I just want to bring some inspiration that you're not alone through a lot of these things that we all go through. I think sometimes we all kind of get in this mindset of like, whatever problem that you're going through, like, oh man, I'm alone and nobody understands this and that. We're all human, you know, and whatever problem it is that you're going through, whatever thing you're trying to overcome, whatever thing you're trying to discipline yourself in, there's at least one person out there that is going through the same thing. And so I think that's the biggest thing as to why I'm so open as to the things that I share, is because I want you to know that you're not alone, that this is a safe space for you to that you can see that it's possible, you know. You know, if you've come this far through the video, I hope that this has brought you maybe some ideas for yourself as to some goals that maybe you can start implementing into your life. If you have any goals for this month or even for the next 6 months, like if you have an end of the year goal, like comment below. I want to hear what type of things that y'all are doing, that y'all are going to be implementing into your lifestyle. You know, because the same way that I hope this brings encouragement to you, you know, hearing your goals are going to bring some encouragement to me. Maybe it'll give me an idea as to what other goal or anything that I want to start implementing into my life. And so yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you back next time. Bye. If you liked today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. I hope to see you back next time. Bye.